First of all, I can't believe it's been almost a decade since the original Stanley Parable released in 2013. I didn't even have a PC back then, so I was never able to check it out until around 2019, which means I still don't have the achievement for not playing the game for 5 years. Sad. I spent 25 years not playing the game before I played the game. How about an achievement for that? I'm gonna try to keep this review spoiler-free, although I do discuss some general themes, including the original game for anyone who might not have played it and is thinking about using Ultra Deluxe as a vehicle for that, which you very well can. The game asks on startup whether or not you played the original, and if you hit no, it gives you time to get a few original endings before it starts introducing new content your way. To be clear, the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is a separately purchased entity from the Stanley Parable, but includes the entirety of the Stanley Parable in addition to new bonus content, and it gets a price cut on Steam if you already own the original. It's $25 naturally, which gets marked down to just under $17. But maybe I'm still too ahead of myself and some of you are still wondering what the hell the Stanley Parable is, so let's talk about that. The Stanley Parable is a first-person, fourth-wall-breaking narrative puzzle. It's a puzzle game where the narrative is the puzzle. The narrator narrates your every action, sometimes presumptuously, and it's your job to either go with it or veer off on your own path depending on the situation to see different stuff happen. The original game had around 19 confirmed endings, several of which are essentially undiscoverable without Googling. It's definitely a game with a ton of secrets, and the payoff for those secrets is generally either a gag or more irreverent plot details. The Ultra Deluxe definitely continues this trend, but in a more linear fashion. The bonus content doesn't involve many choices, you just kind of play through it and that's that. However, it does also introduce a certain item that, when held, basically transforms nearly every ending in the original game and becomes the main joke subject for an absolutely absurd amount of time. The writers should get an award just for the sheer volume of different joke angles and philosophical lenses they peered through to overanalyze and whimsically personify this one incredibly mundane object. Whether you're actually laughing or appreciating it is definitely up for debate on an individual level, but there's no lack of creativity when it comes to beating an arguably dead horse until it's nothing but mist. I played the bonus content all the way through to its main ending, although I somehow got locked out of the epilogue because I guess I missed it during its activation window, and it never came up as an option again, so I had to just watch it on YouTube. I do recommend watching endings on there if you can't be bothered to achieve some of them. One of the original ones famously tasked you with playing an annoying button-pressing game for literally 4 straight hours to see its exclusive ending. You better believe I just typed that shit into a search bar instead. Content-wise, the original Stanley Parable broke the fourth wall plenty in regard to its philosophy surrounding choices and player habits in video games. The bonus content turbo leans into meta-commentary on the gaming industry as a whole, and a large chunk of it is dedicated to the Stanley Parable itself as a game that was released and received in the real world. It is very clear that this game thinks it's the shit. It thinks the Stanley Parable was revolutionary. It specifically says it existed in a time when video games had integrity. I said no spoilers, but this is pretty minor. There's a part where it literally brings up actual negative Steam reviews of the original and then has the narrator shit on them. And at that point I was like, am I playing a game or watching a developer struggle session? Most of the bonus content could be described as one. There's a lot of here's what some people wanted us to do and here's why that's stupid and here's why things other games do are stupid. The original Stanley Parable, to me, seemed like it was much less up its own ass. The bonus content is way too meta for my personal taste. It doesn't help that many of the overarching points it makes have already been ruminating in the discourse for years, and it didn't say anything where I was like, oh, I never thought of that before. It was still neat overall as an experience, and I won't say I don't recommend it, but other than the alternate original endings it tweaks, as far as Ultra Deluxe content is concerned, you can take it or leave it. I'm going to once again eschew the actual category ranking for this game graph because the Stanley Parable is unique enough to not really be adequately graded by it, and just deliver you an overall score. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe gets a 78 out of 100 from me. The overall game is cool, and the fourth wall stuff was definitely new and interesting in its heyday, but the bonus content is too obsessed with itself to not gradually wear out its welcome. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Watch all my videos and recommend them to your guidance counselors, and I'll see you guys next time.